Have you ever wondered why the United States seems to have its fingerprints all over conflicts in the Middle East? Why every time Israel and Iran clash, the U.S. suddenly appears in the background, shaping events, influencing decisions, and controlling narratives? If you've ever asked these questions, you're not alone. And today, on The Silent Truth, we're going to break it all down for you. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our deep dive analyses into global conflicts. Trust me, what you're about to hear might change the way you see world politics forever. The U.S. has always played a strategic game in the Middle East, and when it comes to Israel and Iran, the motives are far more complex than most people think. On the surface, it looks like the U.S. is just supporting an ally or promoting peace, but underneath, there's a calculated mix of economics, politics, and regional dominance. Let's start with Israel. For decades, Israel has been America's closest partner in the region. The U.S. provides billions in military aid, advanced technology, and diplomatic cover, often shielding Israel in international forums. But why? One part of the answer is strategic positioning. Israel sits at a critical point in the Middle East, bordering countries with vast energy resources and volatile political climates. By supporting Israel, the U.S. ensures it has a reliable foothold in a region that has been historically hostile to American interests. Iran, on the other hand, is seen as the primary counterweight to U.S. influence. From the Iranian Revolution in 1979 to its current nuclear ambitions, Iran has often opposed American policies in the region. The U.S. sees Iran not just as a political adversary, but as a barrier to controlling the Middle East's resources and maintaining alliances with other regional players. Iran's growing influence in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen directly challenges both Israel and U.S. interests. Every missile test, every new military alliance Iran forms, and every move it makes in regional politics becomes a potential flashpoint that Washington monitors closely. The motives of the U.S. in this complex scenario go beyond simple alliance politics. One key reason is economic control, particularly over energy resources. The Middle East holds some of the largest oil and natural gas reserves in the world, and controlling the flow of these resources means influencing global energy prices and, by extension, the global economy. By supporting Israel and opposing Iran, the U.S. effectively maintains leverage over the energy corridors and ensures its allies continue to have access to vital resources. Another important motive is military-industrial interests. Wars, conflicts, and tensions in the Middle East have consistently fueled demand for U.S. weapons, technology, and intelligence services. From advanced fighter jets and drones to missile defense systems, the U.S. arms supply to Israel and other allies generates billions in revenue, while also strengthening strategic ties. The more the region remains unstable, the more it becomes a source of opportunity for U.S. defense industries. This is not just about money, it's about influence and control. Now let's talk about the role of media and narratives. America's involvement is often framed as promoting democracy or protecting human rights, but in reality, these narratives help shape public opinion, both domestically and internationally. By controlling the story, the U.S. can justify its interventions, maintain support for Israel, and paint Iran as the villain. This narrative control is powerful because it creates a perception of moral high ground even when the real motives are more strategic than humanitarian. The tension between Israel and Iran also gives the U.S. leverage in diplomatic negotiations. By being the key power broker, Washington can influence not only regional politics but also global alliances. Countries in Europe, Asia, and even Africa often align their policies based on U.S. positioning, which means America doesn't just intervene locally, it shapes global geopolitics from these flashpoints. And while this may seem like a game of chess with nations as pieces, the stakes are real lives, regional stability, and global security. Social media and modern communications have added a new dimension to this conflict. Information flows faster than ever, and the U.S. is able to use these channels to support allies, spread strategic narratives, and pressure adversaries. Leaks, news cycles, and online campaigns become subtle yet powerful tools in ensuring that Israel and Iran remain in positions that serve American interests. The least new conflict certainly fits this pattern. As we look at recent events, the pattern is clear. Diplomatic missions, military support, and public statements all serve to reinforce American influence while managing risks. Sanctions on Iran, military aid to Israel, and strategic alliances with Gulf states are all pieces of the same puzzle. And while the headlines focus on battles, missiles, or nuclear talks, the real story is about power, control, and the intricate game that only a superpower like the United States can play. So what does this mean for ordinary people watching from around the world? Understanding U.S. motives helps make sense of the news, the policies, and the conflicts that dominate global headlines. It shows why certain narratives are pushed, why some conflicts flare while others are ignored, and why international diplomacy often seems frustratingly slow or contradictory. Awareness is the first step towards understanding the silent forces shaping our world. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to comment below and share your thoughts. How do you see America's role in the Israel-Iran tensions? Do you think it's purely strategic, or are there other motives at play? Sharing your perspective not only helps others think critically, but also fuels discussions that can bring more clarity to global events. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on The Silent Truth to stay updated with analyses that go beyond the headlines. The U.S. involvement in Israel and Iran is not just a story of war, peace, or diplomacy. It's a story of power, influence, and calculated strategy. The more we understand these motives, the better we can interpret world events and the media narratives surrounding them. And remember, staying informed and questioning the obvious is the only way to see the silent truth behind